Old School Bodybuilding Clothing Company. If leg day was yesterday and now you're wondering why toilets are so damn low, you are definitely old school. If you're the only athlete at your gym that knows there's a contest today and it's to see who trains the hardest, you are old school. OSBBC.com for the hardest training athletes.
You're funny.
Like I said. Do you like my tail?
Like I said.
Welcome back to Iron Rage. I'm Dave Palumbo, and joining me today is Zack King Kong, sitting in for Lee Priest, who's driving his wife to work. Zack, welcome back to the show, and it's great to talk to you.
Hiya, Dave. How is everything going? All good in the hood.
All good in the hood. Now, obviously, I'm kidding because we talk at least twice a week because you send me updates because we're still working together, and I got to say, you're looking huge. And I know you've been waiting to step on stage for over a year now, but because of all this COVID and the restrictions, and are you sick of this crap already? Are you just ready to beat the piss out of everyone in your way?
Like I said to you before, the first lockdown, you can understand. Yeah. They had to try something. Right. You know what I mean? And then the second lockdown, you thought, okay, give them a benefit of doubt. And now the third lockdown, my God, is just taking the piss. It's like Albert Einstein said, keep doing the same thing over and over and again and expecting a different result is madness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Now, You guys love to lock down over there in the UK. They lock down at the snap of a finger.
Listen, we've got dictators here, and you know what I mean? We've got police officers who are acting like, Nazi police. It's that bad it is at the moment. It's like, what makes me laugh the most is, we had Boris Johnson, who I'm talking about, sure. The guy with the stupid wig, the British Prime Minister. Yep. And they were saying like, oh, there's not enough money for police officers and there's not enough money for the NHS. And then you've got like people ringing up the police and saying, oh, somebody's breaking into my house or somebody's breaking into my car. Oh, just phone up the station and get a crime reference number. No police officers will even come out.
Oh, no? Wow.
No. But if you're trying to feed your family and earn a living and you want to work, I thought that's the point of being a man, is to feed your family and pay your taxes. Then you are getting beaten up and put in a cell for this.
It's insane. It's insane. What I see what happened to Nathan D'Asha is a shame, crime. Put up that video, Tyler. Were you appalled were you embarrassed to be a British citizen when you saw what these police were doing to Nathan?
Listen, I'm embarrassed there for the police officers for acting like pussies. When a person is handcuffed already, right. What threat is he?
Right.
And what threat is he when there's 9 to 10 police officers around you? I've been in a situation where police officers are coming up to me and he's like, 100-pound wet through pussy boy. And he's saying to me like, I'm going to put these handcuffs on you. I go, listen, I'm going to walk to the police car.
Right.
And like a man, don't be doing this in front of my parents, this 80-odd years old, and embarrass me. I'm telling you now, I'm going to walk to the car like a man and you can arrest me in the police station. But do not try to put handcuffs on me because I will slap you.
What were you being arrested at for 18?
Basically, what happened was one of our neighbors, he was playing loud music and I had to have a polite word with him. So basically, I banged his head through the TV,
How big were you back then? Were you muscular?
Yeah, I was still all right, but I was more hot-headed then. You get me?
Oh my God.
So the thing was, my dad went over next door and said to him, listen, it's a Sunday morning. Right. My son's been working. I used to work on Doors nightclub, yeah? Uh-huh. And he says, keep the music down because if he comes out, he will have a word with his copper. So I'm just warning you. So obviously he didn't listen. He told me dad to sod off. So my dad told me later on.
Yeah.
So I had to have a word with him properly, you know. And then the police officers are coming up to wanting to arrest me. I said, listen, I'll just walk to the police station like a man. But obviously most of these police officers have been bullied in school,
right.
and now they're on a power trip, you know?
Right. So
And
10
then-
guys
and then-
come to Nathan's gym, and he's handcuffed. Now, even if Nathan is a violent guy, which we know he's not, okay? Even if he's a violent offender, he's handcuffed. Where do they think he's going, you know?
Yeah, what is he going to do? He's going to run off like Sonic the Hedgehog. Fucking hell. What's he going to do? Basically, you know yourself, man.
Yeah.
When you're a bodybuilder weighing around
Yeah.
280 to 300 pounds,
right.
you're not going to get far. You know what I mean?
Plus, they got the whole canine unit there. Like, you know, they're going to have to track him through the woods or something
Yeah,
like that. You know?
listen. They could have let Nathan run for half an hour and they still could have caught him just like me. The fucking bodybuilders, you know what I mean? But
Do you think the cops were just mad that Nathan found a way around the law, so they still kept his gym open because he told me he boarded up the front windows, so if you can't see what's going on, they can't come into
I think the problem is this lockdown has given a lot of police officers a lot of power,
Right.
and they're doing a lot of unnecessary work, making out they're doing important work. Listen, there's rapists out there.
Right.
There's pedophiles out there. There's people who are mugging old women. There's drug dealers out there.
Sure.
There's people there who are grooming little kids. Come on, use your fucking brains and sort these people out first before you come to a law-abiding citizen who's paying his taxes to keep the government afloat, and then you're doing this to decent people. Then you wonder why we have got no feet left in police officers.
Right, and then it gives a bad name, and we know that most police officers are good guys and good people and do their job well, and then you have a couple people that just, you know, cast a bad light on the whole situation, and you know, like you said, Nathan's just trying to pay the bills and feed his 4 kids, you know.
Yeah, and then you got people saying, "Oh yeah, but you can't say that about all police officers. There's some good police officers out there." I go, yeah. The good police officers are keeping their mouth shut on the bad police officers. They're not ratting the bad police officers out, so that makes them just as bad.
Right.
Do you think there is no good police officers then, is there?
Do you think that Nathan was singled out because he was a bodybuilder, because he was defying the police officers to begin with, or because he was black? Do you think there was any racism involved?
Listen. There's so many factors. You're talking about the area where it's from, man. It's a racist area.
Oh, it is?
You know?
Okay.
Yeah. So he's from Liverpool, and you know it is racist. You know what I mean? There's areas where it's racist. I can't say whether it was racism, you know, got to do with racism, or whether they were just pissed off with him because he had a way around everything.
Right.
Yeah. And basically, he was standing up for his rights, and he wasn't backing down. So, you know, but the thing is, you know, listen, they should be applauding people like him, because
Absolutely.
you know he's speaking up for the small businesses. There's so many
100%.
people there.
100%. I applaud him. I definitely support him.
You know, there's so many people out there, basically, you know, getting furloughed. Furloughed means in UK, they're getting money to sit on their arse to keep quiet. That's bribery money. Listen, you can only get furloughed for so long before you realize you haven't got a job to go back to.
Now you're dependent on the government. You got to do exactly what they say.
That's what they want. They want us to depend on the government.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, you know, whether you call me a conspiracy theorist or not, they want the small people the small business owners to shut down, because they want big businesses like, look, Amazon, in the first lockdown, it made $7 billion profit.
Of course, because people can't go out shopping.
Then you got supermarkets, extra, you know. So you tell me, what's cleaner, a gymnasium or a supermarket, a hairdresser or a supermarket?
Right.
You got people scratching their ass and their balls and they're fucking touching fruit and veg. Come on, how clean is a supermarket? They can't keep that place clean.
Right, no, you're right.
You got people there You know what makes me laugh is that they're wearing all these masks. I totally understand why you should wear a mask. Yeah, you know what I mean. I get it. If you want to wear a mask to keep safe, I'd rather wear a mask. Going to visit my grandparents, my mom and dad who are sick. You know they can catch something off you. That's where you should be wearing a mask, not outside.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, the longer you protect yourself from this virus, when you do get this virus, it's going to be even harder. It's going to hit you harder.
Well, the theory, obviously, we're hoping that the vaccines will be out so that we won't have to get the virus. But you're right.
Yeah,
by the time we get the vaccine, they may have a new strain out that might not even that the vaccine might not even work against. So we know that.
That's the problem. You got the vaccine, what's only got 86% chance of helping you.
Right.
So you're telling me the world's most deadliest virus, all you have to do is sit at home for 10 days and just basically sweat it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, if you notice, most of the people who are dying, they're not dying at home or they're dying on the streets, they're dying in hospitals.
Yep. On ventilators.
You know, if I start seeing people dying in the streets and in shopping places, I will definitely, take it serious. And I think you should take it serious if you got underlying health issues. But everybody who says the virus has hit them hard, they have got underlying health issues.
Exactly. Yes, I agree with you. Or there's people that have just some kind of susceptibility that was genetic or that we can't define. So it's like there's no pattern, really of what's happened. Some people get nailed with it. Some people are fine. Some people who get over it really quickly, a month later have residual effects from the virus, like clotting issues and stuff like that. So you never know how it's going to affect you. That's.
But you know yourself, man. You know yourself, and when people say, "Oh, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm healthy. I got COVID-19." Listen. Just because you're bodybuilding and you're taking all these chemicals and you're taking underground lab stuff, you ain't fucking healthy. Look at you. Do your bloods? Oh yeah, but I did my bloods when I was off gear. Everything's fine. It's meant to be fine off gear. Take it when you're on gear.
I was gonna say, Zach, you bring up a good point. People prepare for their blood work. You ever notice that? All right, I got to get blood. I got to get blood taken in a month. So I'm going to clean out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to eat the data thing. So they're actually building themselves up to get a false blood work reading that's really not truly indicative of what they're experiencing on a daily basis. It's what they've prepared. It's like getting ready for a show. You only look like that once a year. That's not how you look the rest of the year. It's the same thing.
No, that's why, as you know, that when you put me on my diet and you're saying to me, have your greens, have your veg, have this, have that. We check in twice a week, even off season, because end of the day, this time around, we said to ourselves, listen, we're not getting too heavy because when I got too heavy last time around 300 pounds, it was hindering my workouts and stuff like that. And now I'm around 285. And things are great. I feel good at this weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything's fine. But you know yourself, man, like you said, Dave, just because every off-season you balloon up to 300 pounds, that doesn't mean you're putting on the muscle for a pre-contest, you know?
Yep.
Just because the heavier you weigh off-season doesn't mean the more muscle tissue you're going to put on. You have to get that balance.
I went up to 315, 319, kind of like you did, for a few years. And then toward the second half of my bodybuilding career, I never went over, like you said, like 285, 290. I would stay around there because that was a comfortable weight, more comfortable weight for me. And I realized I didn't really need to get much bigger. It was more refinement, And so.
Listen, I got up to, like you said, I got up to 300 pounds. Yeah, great, I'm looking big, but walking around getting the back pump and stuff like that, you just
can't breathe.
It's not, And imagine these guys then who are ballooning up that quick. Imagine what their bloods are like. Imagine if they get COVID, they will have a problem.
Yeah, you're right.
You're
right.
Listen. Just for them having sex, they'll last 2 minutes, pump and push, and they're done. Roll over on your back like a tortoise. You know what I mean?
a lot of guys got COVID from the Olympia this year, and that's why I didn't go. I knew it because it was just.
Listen, Dave, the problem is you're going to a bodybuilding show And bodybuilders have been depleting, water depleting, everything, and they got low body fat. And you know yourself, you're going to be susceptible to any type of virus. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%.
You can catch anything so easy.
I used to go to the Arnold Classic every single year, and I would always, and if I worked the expo, every year I'd come back sick. Every single year, and I knew 100 other people also that would get sick. And that was just like a virus or something stomach related or respiratory. Now with COVID, all it takes is one person to have it and they give it to everyone. So you got to be really careful. I think until hopefully before the Olympia this year, at the end of the year, most people will have access to a vaccine at least to cut back on the amount of people that will be spreading this thing,
Yeah, definitely. Like I said to you, it's like this. Listen, I'm not against vaccines. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I've seen videos of people saying, "Oh, don't have a vaccine because you're gonna get chipped and stuff like that." Listen, you're not gonna get fucking chipped. They're already tracking us by mobile phones and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the least of your fucking worries.
Of course.
The thing is, and what you need to be worried about if you're young is basically just make sure that if you want to have kids, and you should be doing that anyway before you even become a bodybuilder and stuff like that. Is freeze your fucking sperm if that's the case. You get me? So you don't need to worry about this shit in the future.
That's right.
That's
right.
Because, but saying that, look at you, Dave. You've got 3 kids, aren't you?
Yeah. It's all science.
There you go.
It's a science experiment. I say it's a science experiment. If you do the right science, you get the right results.
Yeah, and then you've got Ronnie Coleman, who's got a football team.
Yeah, he's got eight kids. So
people can't say like, oh, just because you've been on steroids, you're gonna be infertile. I think it just comes down to, like you said, genetics.
Well, it makes you infertile temporarily. You just have to know how to turn yourself back on, and that's just science. But I want to get, speaking of sex and science, I want to get to one more topic before I let go. Transgender. Here in the United States, they made a law basically saying that if a boy or a male, someone born a male, biological male, decides that they want to identify as being a female, that they should be allowed, that they are now allowed to play female sports. How do you feel about that? I mean, I have daughters now, and at some point they may go to school and participate in sports and want to go for scholarships. Now they have to worry about competing against males, biological males that have decided that they want to be girls.
You know whose fault all this is? You know whose fault it is?
Who?
Feminists. You know what I mean? Because they wanted equal rights for everything. Real feminists don't want to be better than men. Real feminists just want to be equal to men. Right. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is, men and women, God created us equal but yet different. So where a woman excels in certain areas is where she helps a man, and where a man excels in certain areas like strength and stuff like this, he helps the woman. So you know what I mean? So that's why we are compatible in that way. But as soon as you start messing around with things, this is where you get Frankenstein's creation. Like what people don't understand is this: women have been, you're a 100-meter sprinter, and these records have been set by women for years and years and years. You know what I mean? A decade, and then you got transgender comes along and whips that record. It's like, okay, he's got no test in his body, but biologically, his muscle is more dense. His bone structure is different. So he can cut his nuts off. You tell me something.
Yep.
If one day your child comes to you and says, "Dad, I want to chop my arm off because I think I'm a unicorn because I want to sew it on my head," what are you gonna say to your child?
No, it sounds ridiculous, but who knows? In the future, crazy things could happen.
Yeah, good. Yesterday, a 10-year-old kid wants to be a boss. Next day, he wants to be an airplane. Kids can't make their mind up,
right.
And then there's parents putting the kids on testosterone blockers at the age of 10.
Yeah.
at the age of 10, you're doing this. This is child abuse. You know what I mean? Let's get the facts right.
Right.
You know.
Well, you know what the truth is. If this kid decides, you know, this is what I want, and they go through psychological counseling, and everyone comes to an agreement that that's okay, I'm fine with that. But the problem, like you said, is that this 10-year-old kid has been exposed to testosterone for 10 years. His bone structure, his tendon strength, his ligaments, his bone density and structure has already been permanently altered. It doesn't matter if he has testosterone in his body or not. He's got an advantage over the genetic females that he will be competing against, and it's not right for the females because now they're competing against men essentially, and there is money involved. There's scholarships up for grabs. There's at the Olympic level. There's medals to be won that means endorsements and money, and it goes on and on and on up the line. And so, yeah, while you want to have equal rights and you want to give people the ability to say, if I'm a woman, I'm a woman. If I'm a man, I'm a man. But that doesn't mean that you need to participate in biologically defined sports. You know, that's how I feel.
But the thing about it is these, you know, like lefties, they're so quick to say like, oh, you know, basically, you know, they're coming out with ridiculous things. You can't use son or daughter now, the pronouns anymore, and stuff like this. But the thing about it is, it's like same with abortion. My body, my choice. Listen, you know, I'm against abortions, me personally, unless a woman is raped or something like this. Totally understand why she's gonna have an abortion. But if you got women out there who are having abortions every year because they don't know how to how proper contraception, then that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's totally wrong. Because then they say, oh, you're a man, you got no right to speak about what's in a women problem. Well, I'm white, Asian, whatever you want to call me. That means I can't say nothing about racism against a black person then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I think the blurring of the biological lines is naive. Not that, and I'm all for people's rights and the right to make a decision, but it's naive to make a law like that when we know you can never level the playing field by reducing hormone levels.
You
it's
can't.
impossible. You can't go backwards, you know? My friend gave me a good example. My friend, I don't mean to interrupt you. My friend who's an endocrinologist, yesterday I was spending time with him. He's the one who did the biopsy on my thyroid gland. And he told me there's instances of biological men who were born with no testosterone receptors. So they produce testosterone, but they can't respond to it. So if you measure their test levels, they have high testosterone. But if you look at them, they're completely females, big breasts. They have no penis. You know, it looks like they have a vagina, but they're actually biological men, and they have testicles up in their abdominal cavity. So by all means, they're absolutely biological women because they have no exposure. They have never responded to a single molecule of testosterone. Those people, they're not allowing to compete. But the men who actually have been exposed to testosterone and responded, they want to let them go. There's this one weightlifter on the article we put up there. This girl, used to be born a boy, is lifting 100 pounds more than all the females that he's beating. I mean, is that fair?
Yeah, it's honest to God, it boggles my mind with some of the crap what's going around.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is also, you've got, you know, just because somebody cuts off their penis, and they think to themselves, oh yeah, they're a woman now. You know yourself, I don't know whether a lot of people know this. You know, when if a person takes the penis off and they make a vagina, whatever, the thing is, they have to keep going back to the doctors because that vagina heals up was a hole because it's a wound.
Right. I didn't know you were such an artificial vagina expert, Zach.
Yeah.
If you have any artificial vagina questions, feel free to reach out to Zack Kahn at his Instagram. So what do they got to do? What they stick something up there, like spacers and stuff like that?
Listen, 2 seconds. My dog's ears going bloody nuts, man. All right.
So what do they stick like artificial, they stick like spacers up there, right? Like.
Yeah, they have to keep opening it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not gonna stay like this. Because
Right.
it's gonna heal. It's a wound. It's not meant to be like that.
Right.
You get me?
Right.
And so that's the thing. So and the same thing for the women having a sausage put there. It's not a penis. You know what I mean? So no matter how much they say they're a man or a woman, they're not. They're not.
Pretty soon we might see like men who don't want to be men anymore donating their penises to women that want to be men, and then they could just take like anti-rejection drugs and they could sew the penis.
The thing is, you know, what makes me laugh the most about all this situation is that, you know, like I said to you before, I think I mentioned to you, if my son comes to me and he says, and he's very feminized, he goes, Dad, I feel like I should be a girl. I'll give him some tests and I'll say to him, let's see after this if you feel like a woman. You know what I mean? It's gonna be less invasive than me having to cut his penis off. You know what I mean?
You know what? It's a very hard situation for any parent to have to deal with that, because it's like, you know, unless you're involved in it, you really don't know. But I'm not. Look, if kids want to change sex and they think that they're identify with differences, I have no problem with that. I just don't think you can allow them to play sports.
You know the problem. What I have here in the UK with this all is that there's people having the sex change and they're having it on the NHS for free. Listen, if you want to have a sex change, pay for it yourself, no problem. Do that if that's what you want to do. But we have people who have cancer and they're on a waiting list and they're not getting treated.
You're right.
So what's more important, a person with cancer or you who's got problems with your willy? It's getting in your way.
My suggestion out there is if anyone feels like they're the wrong sex, call Zack Khan. He'll have a little talk with you. He has his own ways of kind of fixing these problems. Much cheaper. You won't have to spend a lot of money. You won't have to pay more money. He'll take care of it. Just contact him. He'll set your brain straight. Zack, I got to go, but thank you so much for joining us today. I love your strong opinions, man. I can't wait for us to get you back on stage. And I think we're going to start leaking some photos to people on Instagram and Facebook over these next couple months.
I'm looking forward to it.
Let me see a front double bicep, man. That's a big boy. All right, that's going to take us to the end of this.
Thank you for your help, Dave. And
thank you.
Thank you for your help and everything, Dave. And I hope that your results come back good, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey,
because you know, you're an inspiration to everybody, and you know, you've been doing this show for 12 years.
Yeah.
And you know what, you've helped a lot of people out. And you know, and I think a lot of people, you know what I mean, appreciate your help, you know what I mean? So keep doing what you're doing, and you've helped loads of people out with your advice and everything, you know? So thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate your help, and thank you for being my coach. You know?
Well, it's my pleasure, Zack. Love working with you. And guys, if you have any ideas for topics for Zack and Lee Priest, we'll get them back on future shows. Put them in the comments below. I'm Dave Palumbo with Zack Khan for another installment of Iron Rage.
Peace out, guys.